In this episode, you'll discover a secret tip when you find yourself arguing with reality. Hey there, it's Michael. Welcome to Whole Again, a show about helping survivors of physical injury and trauma reclaim their strength and resilience through the wisdom of Kintsugi. Today, we're going to talk about the A in my GRACE model. We've already covered gratitude and the R, reframing, and now we get to the A. And the A is working overtime. It represents awareness, acceptance, action, and adjustment. But in this episode, we're going to focus in on acceptance because it's essential in finding more grace in our lives, especially when we're going through something. And speaking of going through something, you might notice that my voice sounds a bit froggy. I feel fine, but my voice, not so much. I'm in the last stages of recovering from a nasty cold I picked up from my dad as we're trying to help him feel whole again. And as it is, I've been burning the candle at both ends, and my immune system, well, it let its guard down. So I've been dealing with this nasty cold. So in advance, I want to thank you for your patience and your acceptance, if you will, of my froggy voice today. So let's dive in and talk about acceptance. As we go through what we're going through, as we try to recover, it's easy to feel like we're in this losing battle, like we're pushing up against this huge thing that is resisting us. And the more we push, the more it pushes back on us. So if you felt that way or feel this way right now, let me just say, you are not alone. And you're not doing your recovery wrong. In the early stages of my recovery, I spent so much time, so much energy, burnt so many calories on arguing with reality. I didn't accept that what is what is. I later discovered that when you argue with reality or Mother Earth or the universe or God, whoever fills up your mug, MUG, well, all four of these players, they always win. You can't beat them. That's the secret. So when you find yourself arguing with reality, my advice is don't. Instead, find a way to practice acceptance. Now, before we go any further, we should put this on the table. Acceptance isn't approval. It's not being okay with what's happening. It's not giving up either. Acceptance is simply saying, I see what is. Again, you don't have to be happy. And when I went through this phase of my recovery, I wasn't happy that I was going through the most difficult thing I could ever imagine. But instead of arguing with reality, spending energy that wasn't well served, I finally got to the point where I was like, okay, it's like this, Michael. I let it be. And from that place of letting it be or accepting what is, then and only then could I take thoughtful action. I finally got to the point when I stopped arguing that my accident should not have happened. The driver should not have been driving. All that narrative, I finally gave it up. Because I realized through the power of acceptance, I can't edit the past. I can't do it over. And from that point, I was ready to take some action. And that's when my recovery really started to change. A common question I do get is that if resisting reality is not good for us, if arguing with reality isn't helpful, then why do we do it? Well, because all of this hurts. And we're grieving. We're grieving what's been lost. We know this injury or illness or trauma that we're going through is an inflection point. Things have changed. We've lost something. And so we resist reality because reality hurts so much. Who wants to sit in the muddy mess? No one that I know of. But it's what is required for us to move forward. There's a saying, what we resist persists. When we push on reality, reality pushes back. It actually adds to our suffering. And this pushing back on reality can be about our situation. It can also be about people. How often do we not accept people for who they are? We want them to be different. And when they don't change in the way that we want them to change, it just leads to more suffering, more tension, more stress, all that. All those unpleasant feelings. But when we can get to acceptance, again, acceptance is not approval. We stop wasting energy on the impossible change that we want the world to make on our behalf. And we can begin to take our energy and direct it towards taking steps that can help us recover. And here's a few ways that might work for you. You can start by simply pausing and naming what's real. So if you happen to be in pain, you can name the pain. If something else is irritating you or causing you suffering, you can name that as well. By naming it, you start to take some of the power, some of the energy away from it. And once you see it for what it is, you can ask yourself this next step. Can you change it? If you say yes, awesome sauce. You can take a small step towards changing it. If you can't, then gently remind yourself that you can accept it. You may not like it, but you have the power to accept what is. The third step is try to find a way to feel grounded or stable, or perhaps safe is a better word. Whatever that might be for you. It might be connecting with the breath or the body, or simply connecting with your senses or the sounds in your soundscape. This will be different for all of us. You're simply trying to take a step towards feeling a bit safer. And in this moment of greater safety, you can accept and recognize any feelings you might feel and try to welcome them all. As Rumi writes in The Guest House, life is like a guest house. Invite all your visitors in. He goes on to say, laughing. So we try to invite all of our feelings in with perhaps a sense of humor. They're simply feelings. They're not facts. They're not part of who you are. You're just experiencing them in this given moment. And finally, this is step number 5. This is something you can do at the end of the day, along with a gratitude practice. This is what I do and did during my recovery, still do today, is I try to reflect on the day and look back and try to identify one thing I was able to accept today rather than trying to resist. I have found in all aspects of my life, when I can accept what is, I can navigate life with more grace. Here's the reality. All the storms that happen in our lives, well, we can't calm those storms. So let's stop trying. But what we can do is find a way to feel safe or a bit calmer, to ground ourselves or to feel more stable. We have the power to do that. And we can also know and accept that the storm that we happen to be in right now eventually will pass. Again, acceptance isn't about giving up. It's not about tolerating things. It's about letting go of the fight, no longer fighting with reality. So you can walk forward with more grace, with more clarity and more energy and strength. This week, I'll invite you to create some space as we do with our pause, breathe, reflect method, and notice. Notice what you're pushing against, or if you happen to be arguing with reality. And then ask yourself, is it time to simply let that be? Even if it's just a little, as a way to start. And then let me know how it goes for you. As always, thanks for being here. Again, thank you for accepting my froggy voice today. In this episode, you discovered the A in our GRACE model: awareness, acceptance, action, and adjustment, with an emphasis on acceptance. You discovered what acceptance is and what it isn't, and different ways you can practice it, so you can walk forward with more grace. Again, thanks for being here, and thank you for being a fellow survivor. And if you wish to learn more about creating beautiful ripples and how to prevent a bad moment from turning into a bad day, please visit my website, michaelobrienshift.com, and sign up for my newsletter called The Ripple Effect. And join us each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here at Whole Again, and discover how you can heal, grow, and become more resilient, and celebrate our scars as golden symbols of strength and resilience. Until then, remember, you can always come back to your breath. You've got this, and we've got you.